I'm going to tell you about a bit of a crazy trip I did with my good friend Sammy a couple of years ago. It was back in the days when we used to go quite extreme with our mountain biking, and we on this one occasion we went to the Lake District, which, if you don't know the Lake District, it's a really hilly part of the north of England, and this is home to Scafell Pike, which is the second highest peak in England and Wales. It's just shy of 1,000 metres. And we went to the area of the Lake District in, I think it was April. And April is still a bit of a dodgy time, especially in the north of England, and the Lake District, which is very high up. And we got there, and we did a fairly tame ride, beautiful, around Windermere, and we did that. And it was a little bit of mountaineering, but not much. Anyway, we finished, and we got back to a pub, and we had a couple of pints, a bit of Dutch courage, and a nice hearty lunch, some very meaty pizzas. And after this, I'm kind of thinking, what a waste. It's actually quite a nice day. However, we had this bright idea of doing Scafell Pike afterwards. Now, I did warn Sammy that he wasn't exactly very well dressed. I mean, he was wearing shorts that road bikers wear, those mammal lycra shorts, not above knee length, with no thermal kind of insulation. And he had a t-shirt and some short-fingered racing bike gloves. And also, to throw into the mix of the stupidity of the whole thing, we also had a GPS, which was looking a little bit ropey by this point. I hadn't fully charged it up. I think I'd not charged it properly the night before. Anyway, it was looking like it wouldn't be lasting much longer. But in our wisdom, we decided to do this ride on the basis that the actual ride is not many miles, because it's like 8-9 miles or something up from where we were, and then back down again. And we thought, we'll cycle it. Even as we looked up to the top of the mountain, which was sunny at the bottom and snow at the top. Anyway, off we went, and people were looking at us as we were coming down on foot, because most people only do it on foot. It's nigh on impossible by bike. And we sorted on up, and we went up and up and up, and the weather got worse and worse and worse. And by the time we got to the top, it was thoroughly inclement, and our visibility was waning. It was going rapidly, and it was getting colder. And by the time we reached the top, my GPS just ran out of battery power. And if you don't know the Lake District, a lot of the mountains at the top tend to not actually have bridle paths. So if you don't have any guidance, any compass or a GPS, then you're a bit fucked if you can't see. Anyway, Sammy was getting very shaky. It started to make very little sense. I had to start donating clothes to him, and to warm him up, but he didn't get much more lucid with that help. He ended up in this thick blanket of snow, rain and fog, which was biting and chilling us to our bones. We decided that we had to call search and rescue, helicopter people. The people come out and get idiots like us by helicopter, and helicopter lift you, is that the word, back down in a stretcher. Anyway, I tried phoning, but it didn't go through. It just hung up after one ring. He decided the best option was to ditch the bikes and just hide behind a rock and sleep there. Anyway, that was madness, and for once he listened to me, and I convinced him that we should just choose a route, even though we couldn't see a path or anything. We could vaguely see the bottom of the mountain, where a lake and what appeared to be a car and people was right down at the bottom. We thought, we can't really go wrong if we just do that, and at least we'll probably be able to, talk to some people who could point us in the right direction. Anyway, we shot all the way down to the bottom of this gigantic mountain, and by the time we got there, these people were like, what are you doing? This road basically leads to nowhere near where you've just explained. Now, these people are very, very kind, as a lot of people are up north, and they donated to us, very grateful and very, very cold mountain bikers, their paper maps. But they also advised us that the only sensible thing to do was to actually go back to the top of the mountain and choose a different route and work something out and hope that visibility might have come back somewhat. Anyway, by this point, it was totally pitch black. I think it was about 10 by the time all this shenanigans had gone by. And we followed this wall, hoping that our car, or something like a road was there. And sure enough, the fog passed, and we could see this little white Golf GTI parked on its own in a car park. I thought, this better not be somebody else's. So we carried on. Sure enough, it was ours, not mine, and we cycled to it. Oh, I was so happy. Got in this car, stuck the heated seats on, and the heating and the engine running, and we just sat there shivering and heating ourselves up. This is like the kind of cold that's not skin deep. This is bone deep. It took ages, but we eventually started to warm up, and we were eating all the cough sweets and everything that we could find in the little drawers of the car. And we then started driving back to our Airbnb to get some more drinks in us and some big hearty meal. And so as we started driving, my phone then came back to life. There was about 60 missed calls from Air Search and Rescue, panicking, not knowing where we were. And I kind of just, a footnote to this story is the Lake District, and generally the UK mountains, are a place where more people, I think, statistically die every year than Everest. And it's because idiots like us think the weather here is quite tame. It's usually like this, 10, 15, 20 degrees, but nothing much more than that. But they say, especially in the Lake District, if you don't like the weather, just give it 5 minutes. And that's because it changes in the blink of an eye, and so it did for us. And so people tend to go up these mountains wearing, like Sammy, shorts and a t-shirt and some skinny little non-thermal gloves. And then the weather changes and turns to -20 and snow and raining snow, the worst kind of snow, rainy snow, and then end up dying. Luckily, we didn't, but you'd think that was a lesson learned, but seems to be a recurring kind of theme of my life, stuff like this. But hey, I got lots of stories, so do give this a like anyway, and subscribe if you want to hear more. I did things like mountaineering as well. I recently climbed up Mount Tubkel, the highest mountain in North Africa, third highest in the whole of Africa. and that was quite an adventure in December. And I've got plenty more to come and plenty more stories to regale. So yeah, if you like it, do see me at the next one. Goodbye.